Well, today I'm going to give you 5 quick checks to ensure that you have smooth MIG welding throughout your project. Now tip number 1 is, well, it's going to be your tip, your actual tip itself. You want to make sure that you have the right size tips for the wire that you're going to be using. Now of course if you're running a smaller gauge tip for the wire that you're using, the wire is just not going to go through, so that's going to stop you dead in your tracks right there. The problem is when you have a tip that's for larger wire and you're running a smaller wire through it. Yes, that wire is going to go through it, but you're probably going to have a lot of clogging and your wire is going to get stuck to your tip. It's just going to cause a lot of problems if you're trying to use this long term. Also, I would recommend picking up a little tip cleaner pack. I don't really know if that's really what you call it. And you can see it's got a whole bunch of different size like little files, and you can put them inside, run them inside of your tip depending on what size you have, and clean out any slag that gets in that hole. Alright, tip number 2 is going to be your nozzle. Now just like your tip, you want to keep your nozzle nice and clean and slag free. These are super easy to get banged up and slag all inside and all on the outside. And you can see this one looks pretty banged up. We've had it for a while. But as long as you're keeping the inside of this clean and there's no major chips or anything on it, your nozzle is going to be fine. You just want to make sure that you don't have slag building up on the inside. And again, using something like nozzle gel is going to keep most of the slag off there. And to clean this out, it's usually pretty easy. You just run some needle nose pliers through there, or any kind of anything in there really that you can get inside there and just kind of scrape it out, and it should fall right out. Tip number 3 is your liner. You want to make sure that your liner is not getting crimped and creased. You don't want to run over it with a forklift or anything heavy, because once that liner inside of there gets smashed, you are never going to be able to have that wire coming out smoothly, and you're just going to have to replace the liner. Now replacing the liner is not that big a deal. It's pretty easy, and we've made videos on this before. Check out the link there. That'll show you how to replace a liner in most MIG guns. Now, beyond that, if you're keeping your liner maintained nicely, you want to make sure that you have your line straight. So you don't want to have it all curled up and crinked and smashed up against something. The straighter you have that line, the less friction that wire has to run through that gun. So it's going to keep running smoothly. And tip number 4, ground clamp. Now there are many different types of ground clamps. Some are more expensive than others. It really doesn't matter what kind of ground clamp you have, just as long as you have your connections nice and secure, and whatever it is you're grounding to, you have a good connection with that metal. It's not dirty metal. The ground clamp isn't all fried up. You don't want any loose connections. Loose connections can cause short circuits and just overall just not good connectivity. This is an electrical current running through this thing. So you want to make sure everything is nice and secure and has a good, clean grip on whatever it is that you're welding. And the 5th and final quick check to ensure you're going to have smooth MIG welding is always run quality wire. Look, not all MIG wire is created equally. You want to make sure you're getting good wire from a good source. I like to get mine from King because I know all of their stuff is top notch. Look, this can make a huge difference in the quality of your weld and just the weld experience that you have. I've run so many different types of wire, and I've definitely found some that are not great. And when you find those wires, you definitely know it almost instantly. The gun reacts differently, the arc is different. It's just not a fun, smooth welding process. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Use these quick checks to help ensure you have a smooth welding experience. Like, there is nothing more frustrating to me is when I get everything laid out and clamped down, and the moment I pull the trigger and start welding, it just doesn't go smoothly. So frustrating. So use these quick checks so hopefully you can avoid that. And hey, if you have some quick checks of your own, share them in the comments below. We'd love to hear it. Everyone has something new that helps their process be a little bit more enjoyable. Share that with the rest of us. All right guys, that's it. I will see you in the next one.